the heart and soul behind every business. Stories. Welcome to Business Story of the Week, hosted by me, Joshua Laurie. From setbacks to comebacks, from tragedies to triumphs, we inspire entrepreneurs through conversations that matter. Witness the magic that turns dreams into reality. Whether it's your career, business, or life, your success is always one story away. This is Business Story of the Week.
Aaron Lapidus on Business Story of the Week.
Fantastic. And that is the man himself with the energy, bringing all that enthusiasm. Of course, my name is Joshua. I am your host. And every episode, we kick off with a riveting question. Today's question is, what's the wildest thing you can find at a garage sale that could be worth a fortune? Well, Aaron is the man with the experience, and he has had all of that. He's had all that experience to share today. The garage sale millionaire, Aaron Lapidus, is an award-winning author, collector, radio host, and philanthropist based in Denver, Colorado. Aaron is considered one of the world's great collectors and treasure hunters, and is often called upon by the FBI of his expertise in various fields. He recently wrote the book called How to Become a Garage Sale Millionaire, which teaches readers how to find and sell valuable items on eBay, online markets, auctions, and everything in between. And of course, Aaron is here today to join us, the man himself. Aaron, how are you doing? Thank you for coming on the show.
Great, Joshua. Thank you very much for having me. I'm really excited.
I'm quite excited about this one as well. Aaron, right off with that opening question, what is the wildest thing you've found on all these garage sales that you've had?
I've seen it all.
You've seen it all.
I have truly seen it all. Joshua, I buy at garage sales. I look at Facebook Marketplace, online auctions, eBay. Every one of those should be in a person's toolbox to make money. And it's just not garage sales anymore. Not garage sales at all. That's just one small little piece of the puzzle to make this more than a hobby, a side hustle, at least a full-time job. And Joshua, we're going to touch on all that because I think your listeners and viewers need to know anybody can make money just by clicking on their computer, opening up some apps, going on eBay, Facebook Marketplace. But to get to your question, on a Facebook Marketplace find, I found coins that were mislabeled, that people were asking the wrong price because they didn't look at the coin. And the picture, it showed the real date, but they used the wrong date and they did the description at the wrong date. So they priced it using the wrong date. And it was worth 5 times more than that. Garage sale, somebody asked me for a tin toy. I looked at a tin toy. It was a monkey on a motorcycle. He didn't even take the time to price it. He said, I'm not taking any less than $20. I'm not an expert in tin toys. And matter of fact, it was an area where I did not have service because I talk in my book, How to Be a Garage Sale Millionaire, about having different apps on the phone so you can figure out the value. So I had to go with all my experience and my gut. I gave him the $20 because it looked old and all the markings looked right, the best I could know. And I later sold it on eBay for $1,150. And that was a tin toy. So I could go on eBay, and I talk about this in my book all the time. People don't always do the description right. So they may misspell the name of an artist, of an athlete, of a toy, and they're not going to be found. So I recommend misspell the name how commonly it could be misspelled. A big artist to me is Michael Goddard. He does all these amazing martini glasses with fun little olives, partying olives in it. He's one of the biggest artists in the country, living artists. He sells over $50 million worth of art every year. Well, everybody thinks his name should be with 2 Ds and not one. So when the people are reselling them on eBay and they add two Ds, nobody's looking for it. So you go in and swoop it on up at a great price because it's been on eBay forever because nobody's looking for it with two Ds. So
That's so
these are just
interesting. Wow.
all these things that Joshua, you wouldn't think about. But I've been doing this for over 30 years. And so I tell you all the tips and tricks in my book, How to Be a Garage Sale Millionaire.
Wow, of course, Aaron, that's pretty wild. It's pretty wild how something seemingly small of a spelling error could just like catapult a value of a certain item. But Aaron, where did this all begin? And this is how I always like kick off the show sometimes. What was the young Aaron Lapidus like? Was he always interested in treasure hunting? Was he always into collecting and garage sales?
Joshua, what Aaron was interested was money. I loved money at an early age. I'm not going to lie to you. I could care less about treasure hunting just as long as I could figure out making money. But it was my mother who I wanted more toys, just like any 9-year-old kid. My mom and dad thought I had enough toys. And my mom came up with the idea of basically, Aaron, gather all your old toys that you don't want to play with. Get me all your clothes you don't want or don't fit in anymore. Me and your dad are going to get all the stuff we don't want. We're going to put it on the lawn, put some signs out, let our friends and neighbors know about it. Whatever you sell, the money goes to you. So believe me, I had huge encouragement. I was amazed that somebody would actually come and buy used stuff. That was a phenomenon for me, but I went along with it. After like an hour, we lost my dad. My dad he didn't want to have anything to do with this garage sale. And then another hour, my mother wanted to go to lunch. I ran in the house real quick and I said, nobody's out here, help me. And I go, Dad, what do I do? He goes, son, anybody come on into the garage, on the lawn, and they're looking around, say, what are they looking for? Tell them what they're willing to pay for it. Ask for a little bit more. And if we have it, sell it. I go, oh, I can do that. I'm 9. I felt I could do anything. And so 3.5 hours goes by. Nobody checks in on me. I'm doing my thing. I'm selling. I'm moving. I'm shaking. And my dad comes out and says, Aaron, how did we do? I showed him all this money. It was like literally hundreds of dollars. And he goes, oh my God, son, how did you do this? I go, Dad, I did everything you told me to, and it worked. And as soon as I said this, you hear my mom let out this guttural scream, yelling out my dad named Ed. Oh my God, Ed, get in here now. So me and my dad run into the house. My mom's in the living room, and she goes, Ed, we got robbed. All our furniture is gone. And my dad's going, how could this happen? How could this happen? And I go, you guys, nobody got robbed. I did what my dad told me to do. He said, see what they want, see what they will pay, ask for a little more, and sell it. And I ended up selling most of the living room furniture. It cost my parents hundreds of dollars to replace it. And the funny thing is, my mom wasn't mad at me. She was mad at my dad. So it kicked it off. They put parameters on me the next year on what I could sell. But my parents set the stage for me to now buy and sell stuff at garage sales, flipping coins, baseball cards. And then my claim to fame, Joshua, was I was a millionaire by my early 20s.
Wow, that is very cool and a wild, wild story, of course. But how many people can say that they started off by selling all their parents' furniture by mistake to becoming a millionaire in their 20s just through garage sales alone? It's very, very cool story, Aaron. You've come now to a point where you teach people how to be garage sale millionaires themselves. How do you take this experience and how do you go from treasure hunting, right, so to speak? There's a treasure hunting from garage sales, but also with anything, there's a risk or reward to it. How do you navigate the risk and rewards of garage sales? Of course, you might pick up an item that probably isn't valuable, or you maybe hold on to it too much. Aaron, how do we navigate this risk and reward, especially for our audience and listeners who you've hooked into, who are now interested into becoming garage sale millionaires?
Well, Joshua, I'm glad you asked because a lot of people will go to garage sales, Facebook Marketplace, online auctions, even the Goodwill store, secondhand stores, because that's what this book is about, not just garage sales. That's my moniker, so I still use it because that's what I'm known about. But this book is bigger than garage sales. And the risk and reward is the risk is you using up your time to make a small reward. And I go over that in my book that you need to say you go to a garage sale or Facebook Marketplace and they have all these books and they're going to offer you a quarter a book. Well, I'm going to teach you how to find a barcode reader and instantly find out what these books are worth. Say these books are worth $20, $30 each. Some of them worth $10. Now, the kicker is here, Joshua, is when you sell them, a lot of people try to make money doing this. You sell them on Amazon or eBay. Even if you buy them for a quarter and sell them for $15, you have to understand you still have to wrap them. You still have to go to the UPS store or USPS, and you got to put a tag on them. You got to make sure the money goes in your account. And so at the end of the day, you may be only working for $2 an hour. And that's not what my book is about. It's not the garage sale put you into poverty book. It's the garage sale millionaire. And so through my book, if you're not making $100 or $200 an hour, you're doing it wrong, Joshua. And that is the risk and reward. The reward needs to be big and the risk needs to be small. And that's what I teach. And that's what's important to move forward.
Love that. And then, of course, right away there, you tell us that how do you navigate the risk and reward? Well, you make sure the reward is much bigger. You make sure that, you're not spending too much time or not. But I feel like it involves a lot about picking the right items, knowing the right value. And that alone, it feels like you have to know your items. You have to know, you have to be knowledgeable about these things. You talk a lot about teaching people how to use auctions, online marketplace effectively. In your own experience, what inspired this focus, so to speak, and how do you teach that to others so that we can duplicate your success?
Great questions. After, Joshua, you would read my book, I would tell you that I would like you to become a mini expert in several things. Not a big expert, not where you're like 10,000 hours kind of expert, but I want you, say, Joshua, your thing is baseball cards. You love baseball cards. I want you to learn about baseball cards. I want you to know about throughout the last 50 years, what are the big baseball cards to always look for? I want you to learn about a couple other collectibles that you're going to see a lot of. Comic books, Pokemon cards. I want you to learn about things like that because you're going to come across that on Facebook Marketplace, in garage sales, in secondhand stores. I need you to be an expert, more so than I'm going to teach you how to find apps that quickly are going to get you a price. But you need to move quicker because not all the times you can use your app. You need to know somebody may be looking at the same item as you at a garage sale or at a secondhand store. You need to be able to turn on the fire right away. And that's why I want you to become a mini expert ahead of time, along with my book. So when you walk into a live auction and you just find out they have 3 boxes of Pokemon cards, are you going to bid on it? Or do you see that somebody's already rifled through them all and they're either in bad condition or somebody's already picked through all the good ones? So that is what I'm going to be teaching you. And it's not going to be all in this book. It's not a get rich quick scheme, Joshua. It is about honing your craft, getting better at it, and then start to executing where you're making money. Your weekends, you don't make a couple $100. You're making $500, $1,000 a weekend because you're doing it better, faster, quicker than everybody else.
Love that. I love that. Of course, Aaron,
Did I
you're
lose
basically
you, Joshua? Was it too much?
teaching us to. Yes, All right, Lossy. Hello, hello, hello. All right. So a little
Here we go.
internet. There you go. A little internet drop off there. I'll have that edited out there. But Aaron, basically, yeah, I love it. You're basically teaching us to be great treasure hunters. And of course, I love that you pointed out there that in order to be successful in this, you need to be knowledgeable about certain things. You rattled off a lot of items on there. And of course, one of the things like Pokemon cards, these are very common in auction items. A lot of baseball cards, and these are very valuable, and a lot of things you need to be knowledgeable about in order to be an expert about that. And of course, you need to grab Aaron's book. You need to grab his book, The Garage Sales Millionaires, in order for you to be an expert at this. And Aaron, it's a very, very fascinating story, and it's a very unique aspect of becoming a millionaire, so to speak. I mean, everyone's heard of being a garage sale expert, but becoming a millionaire through garage sales is another thing. And I love that we get this opportunity to share this on that platform today. Aaron, of course, the website for our audience, so listeners out there, it's the GarageSaleMillionaire.com. Go grab a copy of that book. And to find out more about this, Aaron, before we start wrapping this up, I want to touch a little bit about your stories, of course. Is someone often called, as someone, you yourself, often called by the FBI for expertise? How do you see the future of art, memorabilia, auctioning, authentication? How do you see that evolving? Of your experience by the FBI, grabbing your expertise, what are the common challenges that you often see yourself where they ask for your help more often?
So, I've been asked, first, Joshua, a great question. I like, it's not all roses and rainbows in the collectibles world. There are a lot of fakes. Matter of fact, with autographs, just because you come across a Michael Jordan autograph at a garage sale, it's about a 95% surety that it's a fake. 60 Minutes about 12 years ago, 15 years ago, did a thing on autographs. It's 15 years ago, they said over half of all autographs are fake. And I think that number now could be 75% because there's this thing called an auto pen. And an auto pen can mimic a signature identical. And it can use the kind of pen that's used, whatever the era is, ballpoint, felt, whatever, and it will mimic where somebody like me, somebody at even a higher level than me, cannot tell the difference. So because of that, the FBI is kept busy. But I got to tell you, the FBI can't do it all. If it's not a huge multi-million-dollar scam, they have no interest nor time to deal with that. So you need to be careful. If the deal is too good, you should not be doing it. So there's other things, antiquities. A lot of countries like China, South America, they're not letting their sites, their architectural sites, being raided and then siphoned off to come to America. So there's a lot of times that is a big deal with the FBI, that people are sneaking in antiquities, and they're doing it now because a lot of countries have laws that cannot happen. Then there's theft. So, there is a lot of opportunity to be taken in this world, and you need to make sure you're taking your time. Once again, if the deal is too good, there is a reason. And there's so many scams on Facebook where people's Facebook is being cloned and people are using it to sell items. You buy something, you send it to a bad PayPal address with a lot of letters and numbers, and then they say you can pick it up tomorrow, but we need to deposit today. There's the other scam that somebody they want to give you a certified check for more money than the item's worth, and then they say, pay me the difference in cash, and then you find out the certified check is bad. I could spend my whole time being an expert for them and going over scams. So my other podium is to tell you, protect your bankroll at all times, because if you're not going to protect it, somebody's going to take it.
I mean, this is really really fascinating stuff because this is an eye or a perspective into a world and industry we most people don't have an idea of. You gave us a look into how to navigate it, how to be an expert in it, but at the same time, there's wild stories about like the black market, the dark side of it. Like you said, it's not all rainbows, colorful, and all that, but it's certainly interesting. It's certainly you know quite the quite the very interesting industry to tackle. And if, of course, for our audience and listeners who found this interesting, found this intriguing, you want to get into it, you want to be an expert, the website is the garagesale.millionaire.com. Aaron, where else can we find you? Where else can we connect?
If they would like to get the book right away and they're big into Amazon, you can get it either an e-copy or a book at Amazon.com. Like I say, I have a Kindle version. And if you want to go to Facebook and look me up, the Garage Sale Millionaire, to communicate with me. And hey, Joshua, if you want to see what I'm buying and selling, you can go to the Garage Sale Millionaire on eBay and see how I list items, maybe snag some of my ideas and see what I'm buying and selling. So all those great avenues, Amazon, Facebook, Instagram. I have videos on Instagram. How to be the Garage Sale Millionaire, Joshua. I know you can do it. I'm counting on you bringing me on in the next 4 or 5 months, and you're giving me tips on how I can make more money.
Well, Aaron, it's all because of the tips and golden nuggets you've given us today. All the secrets actually that is stored in that book of yours as well. I invite our audience and listeners, of course, once again to grab yourselves a copy. Aaron, this has been a wild, wild ride. This has been very interesting and very interesting, fresh perspective. I would have had no idea otherwise how it would, how the industry works if it were not for your expertise and your time today. Aaron, thank you for coming on to the show.
Joshua, I love being on the podcast, the business story of the week. I hope I made your week.
Absolutely. Well, you made definitely this episode is very, very cool. I really find it cool. But yeah, absolutely. You've made my week. It's very cool. It's a great way to end the week. To all our audience and listeners out there, of course, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Aaron, I hope you enjoyed this episode.
Thank you very much, Joshua.
Fantastic. To everyone out there, thank you for watching the episode. We will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
All right, so here's the thing. We try to get a little bit better every day, but we can't do it without you. So if you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe below. And if you have any comments, just leave them in the space under.